October, November, when they really start to fall apart, you can cut them back, and then coming the next spring, they'll start to really bush out, spread. But if you don't deadhead them, they're just going to mush over. And
okay.
yeah, but also be gentle because you can really snap them apart. They'll eat them until there's nothing left. So it's where you plant things. If you have grasses, don't plant anything that grasshoppers eat anywhere close to it. But early in the morning, come out here while they're still getting going. Wipe them out.
And how do you wipe them out?
I just come up close to them and I just snap them with my fingers.
So you do move slowly? Because they move away from me when I try and approach them.
Well, I hunt them down. I come up from behind them. If they see a shadow, they're going to jump. But as long as they don't see a shadow, usually can get them pretty easily. Just pinch them with your fingers. Painless death. But sometimes it doesn't matter how much you water something. It's the rainwater that makes it grow.
Oh.
Just watering it is what keeps it alive if we don't have any rain. But watering every day with just normal tap water, you'll get stuff like this.
So what kind of water did you use to build the beeton garden?
It was just normal water, but I would make sure to keep the water off the plant as much as possible, and always keeping it on the side of the plant. I soak it around once or twice.
Oh.
I would always let it dry out before I water it. The best way to go is you scrape down about 1 inch or 2, and if it's still moist, you don't need to water. You go more than a few inches and it's definitely dry, then time to water. Like I say, like for roses, that's when you'd really soak them. But just because it's dry on top doesn't mean it's dry underneath. And the main thing, obviously, is the roots down low that need the most water. But it mainly looks like there was water put on it, and then the sun burns it.
Really?
Yeah.
So the tap water, is that toxic?
It's not so much toxic. It's not filled with the essential nutrients that the plant needs.
And it's got chemicals in it, like chlorine.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a variegated honeysuckle, and my idea was to put wires here, here, and have it climb. So I guess it's not ready to train yet. But
if you look here, we got this big chunk here, this chunk here, and these few shoots off of it. It's got more coming. All sorts of stuff in here. The reason why, and this is like your best example of when it goes to seed, is when you're screwed. If you get it before all these turn to seeds, and as you pull it, the seeds go flying everywhere. So, biggest thing with weeding is weed before they seed.
Can I just cut it at the base and carefully drag it out of there and then pull up the roots?
Yeah, you definitely do that.
You recommend I do that?
Yep.
Or else,
unless you don't mind pulling 1 million of these every year, because just one of these plants will produce so many, it's unreal. But I think they're kind of cool looking.
The wildlife likes them.
Oh yeah, they're native, you know. But there's certain plants that spread so much, and you just wouldn't want to have them next to a garden that you're trying to maintain.
The leaves here, brownie.
I think there could just be a little bit of water that was on it. Again, it might be getting sunburnt a bit. If the sun's out and blazing, that's why when you water something, you get way underneath it, so you don't hit the leaves at all. That's the main reason why plants will burn. So,
how's this blueberry plant doing?
Looks good to me.
Looks good.
You could cut off some of these. Cut this off if you wanted to. This is a little stressed. And then sometimes you don't need to cut off everything. Let's say this bit right here is fresh. If you just pull off a few leaves, pull them down, nice and smooth, and the plant will reflush itself.
You just pulled out the bad leaves.
Yeah, especially if you have mainly good leaves in there, just like 1 or 2 rotten leaves on there.
Perhaps I should cut it right here too.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
And then like right here, you see like we have all this dead in here. You always want to keep in mind if you have a little bit of dead in the plant, nothing's going to grow obviously, but the plant is always going to be evenly distributing all the energy to it. So as soon as this goes, the energy is going to where it needs to go. Oh, there's a grasshopper.
Grasshopper.
I'll show you how you do it. Oh, he's quick.
Yeah, they're quick.
Where'd you go? One more.
What?
I got him.
Oh my gosh.
You ever put real low and so go.
Okay.
And swipe down like across. You don't want to stomp down because that like creates air and they kind of flow with the air.
Oh.
It's kind of like a kung fu thing if you're.
I did not know. I'm so glad you told me. That's
Same
awesome.
thing with the mosquito. When you got a mosquito on you, it's kind of silly. But if you're working in your garden, you got a mosquito, the last thing you would do is this. You like that.
Oh.
And that way the airflow there's no airflow, and you actually have more of an area to get them. If you're going down like this, they're gonna fly up, and you guys see that idea. These little guys off. Okay. I can actually help you with that before I go. That's no problem. This looks really good.
Butterfly bush.
Butterfly bush. As soon as, well, actually you could already cut this now. Just cut it down to the next note here, and as you see, it's already doing its work, going that way. So you cut it now, but still you're gonna get some bees on this. There he is. My favorite little bumblebee.
It'll bloom again?
Yep. Not only, let's say you take this guy off, right? These guys bloom, that guy blooms, then cut it down even further, and it's going to keep going up. Otherwise they get really spindly and they kind of fall over themselves. But these ones in the middle, that one I'd wait a little bit. Wait, this one's ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to wait till every last flower's gone because they keep coming. Let it be until it blooms. You don't need to cut it at all.
Okay.
They're in a lot of sun though. But they got great color. That is the healthiest leaf you could ever expect. The main thing with camellias is always look for T-scale, which you'll find underneath the leaf. And it's like this little white. That's kind of what it looks like when they do the damage. But I don't think this one has scale. It looks absolutely perfect.
Maybe it likes the wood chips.
Yeah, I'd say.
You know, I have wood chips underneath this mulch.
That's great. Now your beds are really healthy, and you've been building them up.
All right.
And that's the other thing. Like, you've been working on this for 3 years now.
This is my second summer.
Second summer. Okay, so next year is going to be your payoff year.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Well, it is kind of the way they go.
Oh, is it?
The plant's a little crooked, a little left. So what I would do, gently, get underneath it like so. Just push some mulch into it. I'm like barely touching it, like I'm just kind of holding it there. As I try to reach this move a little bit. So sometimes, you know, we all need a little helping hand to stand.
Nice.
And the other thing you can do is just take a small stick, just give it as like kind of like a little anchor, a little crutch.
Oh,
just so as it slowly reestablishes. You get a really windy day, it's good to come check and make sure everything isn't flopped over. Pinch this guy off. And you don't have to go all the way down to the bottom because there's more blooms on the same stalk or stem.
Okay.
I just pinch and pull up a little bit.
All right, so those will
baby
spread.
Bees.
Oh, those are baby bees.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is you got the seeds here. What I usually do is I just put it right back into the ground. You know, that's not going to hurt the plant at all.
And that'll help it pop up next spring.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Barberry.
Yeah.
We'll leave it. It's a slow grower, but it's okay.
It's totally healthy.
Okay. This guy here was yellow leaves, and then I put black cow at the base, and it's greening up.
There you go. I think that would be your best fertilizer, is using something like black cow.
Okay.
If you're going to use black cow, from my experiences, I like putting it down at the very bottom to kind of catch the water, retain the water. But on top of that, you want to have a mixture of garden soil, maybe a little black cow and mulch, so you have the airflow. But if you have all black cow and it fully dries out, it turns into like a big cake, a big solid clay cake, you know, and it's even kind of hard to break apart.
Yeah, and water can't get through that very well.
Well, the water will eventually absorb into it, but the thing is the plant's not getting the airflow it needs, or the roots aren't getting the airflow it needs. So you want to have it at the bottom, basically. And if you have any more of it, just sprinkling it and mixing it in with everything, so it's not just black cow.
They're ready to go into a bigger pot.
Yeah, especially if they're not growing anymore. That's when you know it's ready to go into another pot. Okay. If it's kind of stunted, or it easily dries out, that's a sign it needs to be stepped up.
Okay, and what about basil? It was vibrantly green, and now it's a little less vibrantly green. Is it too soon to add black cow mixed with or something? They look pretty good still, but others were getting a little less.
I just would have started this earlier. The seeds.
The basil?
Yeah.
Because it's late in the season?
Yeah. Because as the sun gets hotter right about now, it might burn them to a crisp.
Oh.
So if you're going to do seeds in the winter time, you can do them inside. You can start them late January, early February. If you're going to do it outside, as soon as you get to April 15th, that's your good date to bring everything outside, no matter how big or small. But when you bring things outside after being in a greenhouse, you want to give it a little more shade than what it's going to be taking for the summer. Say about 2 weeks of a gradual progress of being able to get used to the full summer sun.
Gardenia, is this too sunny a place?
No, they love sun.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that this could use a little more fertilizer. You don't want it any lighter than that.
When you say, can I use black cow mixed with soil and put it on top?
Yep. Okay. Or I would say just pull back some of the mulch like this. As long as you're not exposing the roots. And then mix it in there and then flop it back over.
Oh, and that's enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like maybe like a layer like that, you know.
Okay.
Mixed with the soil.
That won't make it. That won't cake up.
Nah.
Okay.
As long as it's mixed.
Okay.
You know.
Mock orange looks okay.
Mock orange is fine. You can cut them back 5 times a year and they'll just keep going. I would. All this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it grows better after you prune it.
Yeah, it'll be way more contained. Mock orange will, I don't want to call it invasive, but it will definitely take away nutrients and water from other plants. It's a very vigorous grower.
Okay, miniature rose.
That's nice. Healthy as can be.
Yeah.
I would take off these guys.
What I just with the scissors, cut right there?
Use the scissors and see if this is easy to pinch. This one came right off. There it is.
So these are dead enough to cut.
These are definitely ready to go. These you can leave for a few days or so.
And what about shaping it, or does that need it?
I would let it get a little bigger before you start shaping it.
Okay.
But the leaves are perfect. If you see the leaves like this, no black spot, dark viridian, no bugs, this is the ideal look for a rose, in my opinion. But the leaves on them, I've noticed if you have a bunch of leaves around here or dead blooms, black spot is not far from coming.
So I should compost it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just get it away from the base of the plant. But if you look right here, see the growth here? How it's going out that way? Mm-hmm. If you had a stem that's growing into the rose, that's the one you want to hack.
Okay.
You know, and then they'll keep bushing out and you'll have that airflow that the plant needs.
This happens a lot with my mint.
Too much water.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I thought mints like water.
No, they love to be dried out.
No way.
Yeah. Mints totally do not want to be overwatered.
Oh my god.
The whole don't like wet feet type of thing. The other bit is that it could use a bigger pot too. What I suggest though is not planting this in the ground, because if you do, you're gonna have it everywhere. And you can always cut mints back to almost nothing and they'll keep coming back. Perfect. You take a little bit of a root of a mint and then throw it on the ground and watch it go.
Okay, Chinese fringe tree, just keep it going.
Cool. Yeah. Get the yucca. Is that gladiolus?
Yeah.
I definitely take this off.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's done.
Will this come back?
Yeah. Okay. But you can see how it's the greens retracting because all the nutrients were going into this dead stalk. So you're gonna see I've cut this back into here as well. Okay. Is that puppy in there? You in there?
I transplanted it. It bloomed over there, and then I transplanted it here.
Okay.
It might come back next year.
Yeah, definitely. But my mom has a bunch of these, and she does not have a green thumb, and they keep coming back. Nice. This is gorgeous, though. It's one of my favorites, Loropetalum, Chinese fringe. I wouldn't be cutting them back for a year or two from now. Really let it take off and bush up. But it might take your sun away from the canna lilies. So you might want to thin this out a little bit and move them around. When I think of where you started, your first video, it's not even the same place. So exciting. I still remember your son skateboarding down the pile of mulch. So cool. All these guys need deadheading. Get all these guys out of here.
Will that reseed and grow more this winter?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, if you wanted to. Yeah, I sure will.
Can I just cut it and chop and drop?
Yeah, I would do that, and even just pull all the seeds down and just let them spread all around here.
Okay.
All of these guys gotta go. All that. Take this out of here. That's it. Just kind of twist it. There you go. This one right here. It might be too thick. Maybe not. I got a razor nail. I literally sharpen my nail to have like my own clippers right there. And I don't cut it down to nothing. I just take a little bit off every week or so. Use a file. So I got a sharp nail to pinch things. The Dusty Miller. As soon as they go brown like this, you chop them. And if you look, we got new ones coming here, but see that? Here's your next growth on the Dusty Miller. So just make sure you check. There's one right there, one right there, none right there. So your spot to cut would be right there. And just a smidge above it. You want to cut directly on it.
On this one, I would cut right here.
Yep.
Because that's a new growth.
Yeah, and that'll be blooming. So it'll definitely repeat bloom a few times. And that kind of stuff will keep you from spending more money on fertilizers, you know, more maintenance, you know, all sorts of things, just by taking out what doesn't need to be there.
This is sage that I had somewhere else, and it wasn't getting full sun. Then I moved it here. Now it's full sun, and it seems to be happier.
That looks really good. The main thing for this guy is just as soon as the bloom's done, chop that off because you got a bloom there, a bloom there, a bloom there, and a bloom there. This one's still got a little bit, you know, but for the most part, when they're spent, take them off because you got 1, 2, 3, 4 ready to go. You know, this guy's done his part, and what I always do is just go beep, beep. Keep them coming.
You do that?
Yeah,
and then,
I take all the seeds off and throw them back in there and just, you know, this guy here, that's spent. Wait, no, this is still the bloom. That's still the bloom. That's still the bloom. It's just starting to bloom. Duh. So just like that. That's so good. They'll take all the sun they can get, and you can cut them back 4 or 5 times a year. They'll definitely spread. You can just take a piece and throw it on the ground. And they'll grow little roots. This is very healthy. This is exactly the way you want it to look. Don't let weeds get mixed in with this guy. That'll definitely hurt it.
Okay.
Otherwise, they'll thrive. And you can give these as gifts to people. Just break off a piece, stick it in the dirt.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Black-eyed Susans. These guys. You can cut them back as much as you want. They'll keep blooming. In fact, just look for the ones you need the deadhead. This is where you want to be heads up on the grasshoppers. This is where they'll start their commune. They'll also start going after these guys.
Oh yeah.
They already have. And with canna lilies, you always can take the tops off if you want to. Take leaves off it. They're never going to die. They just keep spreading.
This is another example. I water this a lot. And
Oh, that's one I gave you.
is it?
Yeah.
How do you know?
In the pot.
Thank you.
Yeah. This was my mother planted for lemon balm. Yeah. Actually, I think that's a grapevine.
Really?
Yeah, it's a grape.
What about that one?
I think that's a grape.
Okay, what about these guys?
Those are grapes. Unless you planted something there.
No, I didn't. This is
Yeah.
what I thought was the volunteer plants from the lemon balm or bee balm.
Oh, no, that's a grapevine.
What should I do with that? Just pull them.
I pull them.
Because they don't have male and female. They're not producing grapes, right?
Well, you could by getting, you know, determining what's male or female, but you'd have to really raise them up, and it's going to take away sun from everything else. Plus, when the seeds go, it's kind of like the pokeweed. You find them everywhere, and then before you know it. So if you're gonna go grapes, you better have your own big area for it.
Okay.
I wouldn't do a little grapevine here, grapevine there. With everything else, it's gonna.
Okay. Any ideas on what to do with the bamboo? I know I can't plant it in the ground, but I just love it so much.
Me too.
I know you have to get special containers so that the roots don't poke through.
Yeah, I need more sun.
Okay.
I think, just by being on the tree. This guy would love to be in full sun nonstop.
So maybe put it on cement or something.
Keep it on this thing or something like this. I think it's cool on a pedestal.
Or just somewhere out where there's no sun.
It's getting dry, so there's some moisture in there. But I would say maybe this could go into a bigger pot, and that could go into here.
Okay, cool.
Because they need the room. That's how they do their thing. This is wisteria.
Wisteria, right. And it never blooms.
It does bloom. It blooms purple in early spring. It looks gorgeous, but probably didn't get enough sun. But it's working on that. These will mess up your trees. They will also create roots that are so deep and so strong that you're never gonna be able to wipe them out. So cut them back as much as you can. You can try digging them up, but don't let this do its thing. Exactly that, poison ivy.
I had no way.
Yep. Oh shit, it's on the tree.
No way.
I tell you, like, I have a sixth sense for it. It's also right there. You can tell with poison ivy on these leaves, the bottom ones, it has a little notch in it. See that notch there? That'll give you a clear sign that that's poison ivy.
You mean one of the 3 leaves has a notch?
See a little notch right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a clear sign that it's poison ivy. It's got a notch right there.
So what should I do?
There's a company or a product called Safer, and they have a whole bunch of things to knock things out, but you have poison ivy all back. I really hate poison ivy. So,
alright, I'll look it up.
The reason why I was saying knock out these vines, even though they're pretty cool, they're great for putting on fences, and if you're making like a natural fence, they'll just hold the whole thing together, is they're gonna shelter the poison ivy to grow. They don't poison ivy doesn't like too much sun. They can grow in sun, but if they're in the shade, you always find poison ivy right on the edge of the woods. I call it the tripwire of the woods. If you don't know anything about the woods, poison ivy's gonna get you. And the reason why they're on the edge of the woods is because the birds are on the edge of the woods. So if they need to fly, they can easily take off in open space. The bird's not gonna go deep into the forest when it gets in trouble and have to fly through everything. But they sit right on the edge of the woods. They eat the berries of the old poison ivy, and they just drop along, and there's the poison ivy. So the birds in the way keep out ignorant people to keep them out of the forest. That's the way I look at it. But the other one here is Virginia creeper, which isn't poisonous. It's this one right here. It's got the 5 leaves, but when it's younger, it'll usually have 3 leaves sometimes. Okay. So.
Is that flower?
Not that I've seen.
So it's a weed?
Yeah. And that's honeysuckle right there. It's a native honeysuckle. You kind of want to get rid of that. It's really invasive. I mean, not native, the Japanese honeysuckle. The native honeysuckle to here is coral honeysuckle. But I'm pretty sure there's like some kind of a salt spray that you can use for the poison ivy.